Okay, so we are live and we are talking about the Roger release today that they did. I'm a little high on the volume. I apologize. I'm going to bring it down on a notch. We are live and clearly I'm very excited because we're going to talk about the new Wilson RF collection of rackets. We're also going to talk through some of the accessories and all of that. I don't even know where to start. Does anyone want to take it from there?
Is this a pro staff?
Question of the day.
Good question.
Is this a pro staff? Actually, through this podcast episode, we'll answer some of the questions that have already been generated on our YouTube page, which we haven't had a chance to answer yet. So that will be super fun. But there's already some fun racket comparisons.
Oh, yeah.
That, I don't know if you would normally compare pro staff.
One of the comments when we first released the teaser video.
Yes.
They could probably just tell from zooming in and stopping the footage, of him taking because it was just a quick glimpse of him taking the racket back, but people were already saying no, it's not a pro staff. It doesn't have the perimeter weighting system, which is a signature feature.
Could you tell from that video?
I think it was quick, but I think maybe certain people on the internet were zooming in. They can investigate, just like the people on the message boards. No PWS, no box beam. So I think that already
takes away from the pro staffiness of the racket. No.
Yeah, I think those are kind of signature traits of a pro staff. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a brand new mold, right? And, obviously engineered and designed with Federer himself extensively. So, that's... he was, testing it in 2022. So it's been 2 years of, R&D and, thinking about what's the proper audience for this. You have everything from the beginner player to the advanced player. And
right.
Lots of options even within that, obviously for customization, lots of different paths to take. It's a cool family. I'm really excited to see what people respond to it with.
Oh, the forum was already on fire this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I was going through moderating the thing. It's already on fire. People are either calling it, this is the best upgrade they could have done. All the things that Fed, just looking at the racket makes you wonder what Fed was planning on doing on his comeback. There's the big Fed fanatics, and other people are just calling it a money grab and all that. And there's the people in the middle, people in the middle who are kind of, they don't know how to feel about it. They're like, it kind of reminds you of a Pure Drive or comparing it to the Pure 98, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I see it. We've all played with it at some point. I see what the comparison's coming from.
I saw a comparison to an EZO 98.
Yeah, that was the one that interested me as well.
Yeah, that was a pretty sharp insight, The same sort of beam tapering, the denser mains, the 16x19, a little bit lighter, of course. But I think it's fun to have an option like that.
Right?
Yeah. Resident EZO 98.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
The Pro stiffer.
The feel's different.
Definitely stiffer feeling than the E-Zone. But the E-Zone, I guess if you really break down the frame design, this new RF line is a thicker beam. It's 23 point something.
I can pull up the specs so we are dialed.
What was the RF 21.5?
Yes.
So it's thicker beam. I guess the E-Zone it's thicker as well, but it also is a little more narrower in the throat. The E-Zone, it's skinnier in the throat.
23.2 and 23 and 22 on the Pro.
Yeah, so it's definitely a thicker racket than his previous Pro Staff rackets. And then the design up here is kind of like an arrow shape. It's got that very narrow aerodynamic. It's not box beam. So you definitely, when I hit the Pro, I could notice the stiffness of it right away. Not that it was a racket that was hurting my arm or anything, but it definitely is a firmer, more lively or responding racket. So yeah, I guess you could kind of bunch it in there with an E-Zone, maybe even a Pure Drive 98, even though the weighting's different.
These are comparisons that I saw on the forum as well. Actually, yeah.
What do we make of that little dip in the throat section? Because I don't really know if I've seen that on a lot of other beams.
Yeah,
that sort of groove that then becomes flush with the rest of the thing. Yeah.
I wonder if the camera's catching it, but yeah, this is what Oak's talking about right here.
Manish, are you just flexing your brand new RF01 Pros? He's check this out.
You mean my brand new strung with the Champion's Choice?
Is it a birthday gift to yourself?
Oh yeah, I bought 2.
Do you even RF01 Pro?
I don't even want to take off the plastic.
He only has 2.
One
so
for display
far,
purposes only.
compared to like his 30 RF97s.
30 damn.
I'm gonna jump in and give you guys some of the questions we've already gotten generated on this live. Someone had said, which Manish, that was my first question for you when I saw you grab these. Are you seeing a big variance in swing weights for these rackets? Worried about the Pro being roughly 330 strung, but ending up with something close to 340.
Well, we just got the first batch of it. The first batch I actually spec'd out when I was trying to get my set. I spec'd out a good amount, I think at 20 of them.
And they were all the same grip size?
In all the same grip size. Yeah, 4 and 3/8. I was looking at those. And they're all coming within that between 296 to about 298.
Most of them?
Yeah.
Unstrung.
There wasn't
Unstrung.
There wasn't any
No
over
variance
300?
beyond,
No, like super, on either ends of the spectrum, there was nothing that was standing super out.
You didn't get any over 300?
No.
Oh, huh.
I was looking for that. I couldn't find it.
And the 2 testers that we had were very close in swing weight.
Yeah.
Like 331, 332.
Yeah, they were within like 3 or 4 points,
Yeah.
I think.
We got some other Wilson samples recently, and despite them being different frames, they kept the specs very close.
And it's worth mentioning that when Wilson did release the blade, they did let us know that internally they were doing a better job of spec tolerance, or they were trying to go ahead and make sure that that was a priority for them. So I would assume that would just carry over into all the racket lines and just moving forward with their production facilities. It's no secret. We've talked about having pretty various swing weights on the RF97. I've had some as low as like 320s, high 320s, and some as high as high 340s. So we're not experienced that yet, but again, it's day 1. So there's a lot of rackets to get on the RDC and test.
Yeah, but so far everything's been within like 5 points on the swing weight.
That's great.
For the most part.
Yeah, it's actually
is
pretty good.
amazing.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I did spec a lot of the 6195s, the Pro Staff 61.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And when I did that, I want to say it was more like a 10-point swing. And also everything that I found in the 3/8 grip was like a little bit lower than our test rackets.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. So I was finding like 285s to like 292s, stuff like that. So still not
tolerance
bad,
has gone really, like the variances have become really good. Like they really honing it in. So I really like that.
Nice.
Before we get too ahead, I know it's going to be a little bit more fun with you guys, like giving us some popcorn style questions. We had a bit of an outline, but we're going to be all over the place today. The second question, it says, I'm hearing rumors that the power isn't the same as an E-Zone or Pure Aero 98, but I think the power would have to be pretty high given the stiffness and the beam width. Assuming you're talking about the RF01 Pro. 01 Pro. I keep saying O. I'm sorry.
So the which of the RF rackets is closest to in spec wise to the 98 E-Zone and the Aero?
Well, I'm assuming
Isn't it
it's
the
just
01?
the 01.
Yeah.
The regular
So
01. You
maybe
have
the
experience
01.
on that, right?
Yeah, I played with that one, but I
Yeah.
remember even from like my very first hit with the 01 Pro, my very first impression was like, oh, the ball went further than I thought it was going to. Like just immediately a lot of power, and that was consistent across all 3 models. Like regardless of spec, you're
Easy
getting
to swing.
easy
with
to
power.
swing, easy depth. And I feel like that's been something I've noticed with a lot of Wilson rackets over the last couple of like model releases, like the Shift Pro, the Pro Staff X, really high net clearance, really good depth, which is not something I'm used to from a Wilson racket a lot of the time.
I mean, I accidentally hit with the RF01 for like a couple hours, just didn't realize what I picked up. And I would say it had some easy power and access to spin as well, but I wouldn't put it on the same page as I don't know, it's tough. I haven't hit the Pure Aero 98 or the E-Zone 98 in a minute, but like comparing it directly to like a pure drive, it's obviously not a pure drive, but
It's not,
yeah. So
I would say I hit the Pro. Obviously, I was on the review, and I remember hitting the E-Zone 98 Tour during that time because I was like, oh, you know, it's comparable and the weight's not far off. What is this, 320?
Yeah.
And the E-Zone Tour, E-Zone 98 Tour is 315.
Yeah.
But both have a similar swing weight.
Right.
And I would say the power level is actually pretty close to an E-Zone, not far off. I wouldn't say as much power as the Pure Drive 98.
Yeah.
And then the Pure Aero 98, I get a little bit easier launch angle and a little bit more spin because of the string spacing, like the main strings. But yeah, I wouldn't say crazy far off from an E-zone type of power.
No, that makes sense. I mean, the RF rackets, even throughout history, have always, at the end of the day, been control frames. So you know, you can't really expect it to give you like E-zone or Aero 98 level power level. So it makes sense. It's not supposed to be a power frame. It's you can say that Fed was looking to go for something a bit more powerful, especially with the modern game now, a slightly bigger, thicker beam, slightly bigger head, all that. So you can say Fed was going for a little bit more power.
Well, that's part of
spin.
Wilson's narrative, right? It's like he was looking for more power and spin specifically on his forehand.
On his forehand, yeah. The new video that just dropped. Yeah.
And faster with his hands.
Yeah, and that's such an interesting like concept because you think of like, oh, you know, most aesthetically pleasing forehand ever, and like
and now he wants to make
what are you gonna change
bigger?
about that? Like, yeah.
I would say I noticed the power increase. For me, though, I wouldn't say this racket's a spin monster, at least when I hit with it.
I'd agree.
And I talked about it a lot in the written review, and it maybe I take this too much into spin factor, but string spacing to me has a lot to do with it. And if you look at these center six main strings, they're pretty tight.
Yeah.
They open up towards the edge, but you know, I think it works well on flat shots.
Yeah, for sure.
Felt good on the slice. I got decent spin, but I was wanting a little bit more launch angle for my taste.
I see that.
I don't know, maybe I've just gotten used to like even more open patterns. I've been hitting a lot with V-Cores, V-Core 98, 98 Tour, and the string spacing's pretty wide open, so I think I just gotten used to that easy net clearance, and this one's a little bit lower trajectory for me.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I said it in the video. I thought the spin was on par with the RF97. I didn't really notice a huge up in spin potential.
I wonder if they changed the spacing. I don't know if they did.
I should have brought my.
For the RF,
I was gonna say, Troy's gotta know.
I think it's a little different just by looking at it.
It's a little, Is it tighter? No, maybe.
I think in the center, I think right here.
We got one more square inch. We got to tighten it up.
Because when I look at the RF, I see like more even distribution between the squares.
Sure.
And right here, they're a little more rectangle, and then they open up. So it definitely has that kind of dynamic spacing where it's like tighter in the middle and more open around the edge. Kind of like if you were familiar with the 6195 16 by 18 string pattern that Wilson used to make. It used to be tight here, open around the perimeter.
I feel like too, like with spin, it can be so motion specific from player to player.
Oh yeah.
Like some players really use like the full length of the racket to sort of brush along the ball, versus like I feel like, you know, Michelle or you, like Manish, like you guys all hit a little bit more flat and direct. So,
flat hitters, spin hitters.
No, but I feel like I have a good range. Like I can.
No,
I
you
can
definitely flatten it out.
I can flat.
I'll
you know, my
attest to that.
backhand's
I'll
like
attest to
slice 95% of the time. That's as flat as it gets.
it doesn't even bounce.
Yeah, I would say, you know, I do hit with a lot of spin, but I'm not like a stand behind the baseline 15 feet and roll the ball. I do like to step in and in the play.
Yeah.
Well, and if anyone at this table can emulate Roger and his strokes, it's you two. So
I would say more Troy, honestly.
Maybe more the slice and the volleys.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you take video of him and you just, because I have a few videos of him, and you just mirror it because he's a lefty, you mirror it. It's very Fed like.
But the forehand I give, probably you practice it more with his technique. Whereas I like to change my forehand. Sometimes I like to hit it with Roger. Sometimes I'll be watching Curios videos and just doing what he does. You know, trying to get that modern bend. Like elbow bend. You know.
Yeah.
But,
I wanted to talk a little bit about Roger's kind of like activation with these rackets, and you know, there's like some really cool videos that Wilson's putting out on the whole story and the play testing and all that, but like just to be able to reiterate that he's still like such a huge part of the process and like so dedicated to tennis, which like I think I already knew that because Roger. You guys are like, shut up.
No.
But let's talk about the RF01 Future, which is the lightest in the lineup, and that racket serves a purpose, because I think we want to make sure that everyone knows that there's 3 distinct models, and they're for 3 different types of players. And Oak had the opportunity to be on the Future playtest, and he's had the opportunity to customize it as well. So maybe you can speak to the diversity of this racket.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Troy for the customized version of the Future, which honestly played like a dream. And I think that's probably, to me, the most exciting aspect of that line, is that for a majority of players, you're probably looking for something in that 300 to 310 gram range. And if you are super particular about your specs, the Future is such a good platform for getting you to that. And I was really interested to see that, like, you know, across the 3 models, it's the same mold, it's the same grommets. The only thing that's changing, right, is the internal mass and the distribution of said mass.
A little bit in stiffness, though.
A little bit
too,
less stuff.
Gotcha. But for the most part, I feel like for a 280 gram frame, I was like shocked.
Yeah.
Like, it plays so standard, and I think a large part of that is the balance. It's a little bit more head heavy, around like 3 points, I think, strung, and it's stable somehow,
cool.
despite for
what
being
was
like
the streak made on yours?
Ours was around 318, I believe.
Okay.
That was the
which is great.
customized.
The customized.
Customized.
one.
But it was lower.
Stock was really low.
Yeah.
I think the one I started out with was close to 300 strong.
Oh, wow.
So it's very maneuverable in stock form. I'm not sure what we have listed on the site right now as
look
the
it up.
average, but the baseline is very light, maneuverable. But when we customize it, it was like 318.
But it's a fun racket. Like, I just had a good time with it on court. Like, it wasn't one of those things where I was like feeling frustrated, like couldn't make the adjustment. Anything I think that's like encouraging like that is usually going to go a long way, especially if you're a junior. I think Mark put it best. He was like, you know, it's a frame that you can grow with and
That's
grow
what I
into
like.
very well.
Yeah, true. I feel like this is not just as a racket, but like for Fed's legacy or some, you know, I don't know the better word for it. This is important because how often can a kid say that I play with the RF, you know, or I play with Fed's racket?
Yeah.
How many parents out there are like grew up maybe with like a Pro Staff, like even the Pro Staff 90s or like the smaller ones, or an RF 97, and now their kids are playing tennis. And I mean, like, I don't know, it's kind of cool in my opinion. And I'm assuming Roger, he's got 4 little ones, who aren't that little anymore.
I know, you saw the documentary, they were like tall as him, and I'm like, these kids were kids.
So like, he's doing a hands-on, like, hey, this is for the future of our sport, which...
Yeah, I think it's a good racket for, say, that junior player that's coming into their first full-length racket.
Yeah.
Even a high school player, a boy or girl that's, you know, not fully developed yet. I think most high school players could probably use the 01 at 300 grams and be fine.
Yeah.
But for like a new high school player, smaller frame, it's a really easy maneuverable racket. Or even an adult that really just doesn't... or is more accustomed to something that's sub 300 grams. Maybe they came from like a 105 head size or something like that, and they want to try out the Roger frame. It has all that maneuverability, and it's got more forgiveness and power than, say, like when they used to sell. I think we still sell, but like a lighter version of the 97, a little more demanding.
Yeah,
So
I can see
I think
that.
it's a fun racket. Maybe even someone that was like a pure drive light user and wants to get a little more control. Wants a RF frame. Yeah.
Is that in direct competition in terms of weight class with the 97L?
I can look.
I want to say the 97L is like a 290, and this is what, a
280 unstrung.
Yeah.
So it's lighter.
Close to it, I think.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of a good segue to one of the questions that I saw come through about if this would take away from the blade user, or would this take away from blade sales? And I'm going to jump in real quick. I was going to say, I don't think so. Well, you are a blade user.
Yeah, no, it's
It's different. It's different feel. It's different. It's not the same.
No, definitely not the same as far as the feel and the flex and all that.
Yeah.
I would say this is more like kind of like a halfway, maybe between like a blade and like an ultra or something like that, like as far as the stiffness and or
even
blade's
the
a
power.
bit shift maybe like in that halfway kind of point as far as that goes. But they were asking directly, like, will it take away from the blade?
Yes, I think that was the question. Let me double check to make sure I'm reading.
Because I have a question for the birthday boy.
Oh, okay, go for it.
So are you officially switching to this RF Pro?
Yes.
Breaking.
And being a blade user, 98 for many, many years.
Yes.
And also hitting the Percept lately. Very soft rackets. How was it so easy for you to just switch
Because
to a
it's
stiffer frame?
well, it is stiffer, but it's not like it's uncomfortable or anything.
Okay.
It's very, very comfortable. I really liked playing with the frame, and like I usually go for the blades and the Percepts and all these because of the
soft.
control level.
Yeah.
I tend to swing pretty big, but this is pretty well controlled.
Okay.
Easy directioning, better than the blade. I would say.
For what?
Better than the 1820 blade?
Yeah.
As far as what?
Directional control. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I really like.
All right.
Also a bit more stable
What's
as
the
well.
swing weight right now on the blade 98 1820? It's a bit
Or like
higher
what
than
are
this.
on yours?
Yeah, it's
Mine
higher.
is 330.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But like on the side, I think it's like 327 or something.
Oh, okay. I'm
What
thinking
is
the
it?
Blade Pro.
Around
Those
that.
are
yeah, I was
baby.
Blade Pro is 340 something.
Okay.
Or like high 330s.
341.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine's three. This one's these two are unstrung 300. So like this would be around 330 as
30,
well.
okay.
Yeah, 330 as well.
I'm gonna jump in with this question from Gabriel because it's like super on point for what you guys are talking about. He says he's a one-handed backhand. Yeah. I was like, we got those. 4.0 uses the V-Core 98 for 5 years. Now Percept 97, which Manish has been hitting a lot for added plush and control. Got it. Seems like the RF line may sit in the middle. Which model, Pro or regular 01, swings like the Percept 97?
Bro.
The 97, I would say.
It's right in the middle, right?
He might. I would probably push him towards the 01 and do a little bit of customization. Also, not only because of the weight and the way it maneuvers, but also because of the stiffness. The
so it's a bit
stiffness, that's a
softer.
big thing for me, and that's why I actually been hitting more of the 01 after we stopped, after we finished our
playtest,
review.
yeah.
Because I think that would be the one I might actually like play with more and doctor it up, customize it a little bit.
Yeah.
But the stiffness was a big part for me.
What would you go for swing weight?
Swing weight, the stock, I'd say it's the swing weight on the 01 is close to the Percept 97.
Okay.
We're talking not the H, not the D.
Standard.
The 97.
Standard
I think the
97.
swing weights on both of them are near 320.
Yeah.
Maybe even the 97's a little lower. Percept 97, I think, might be sub 320 on our website.
Would you want yours closer to 330
Oh,
though?
mine personally, yeah. I would.
Yeah.
I think right now the swing weight on the 01 is close to 320, so I'd probably add a little bit, 3 and 9 area, get it up maybe 5 to 10 points and see how that plays. Tail weight it, I don't want to make it exactly the same spec as the 01 Pro, but just make it a little beefier.
So the regular 01 and then the Future, they do not come with leather grips, right? So would you be adding it to yours?
The 97 for this
Facts.
Right, no, of
Yeah,
course. No, but would you add leather to yours? I know you like leather.
I would probably start off with a little bit of weight up here and a little bit of weight inside the trap door.
Okay.
Maybe leather eventually, but leather adds stiffness to your racket. If you didn't know that, it makes it a stiffer feel.
That's why I like the leather grips.
Just because this foam
Bit more
kind of
plushy.
stuff softens it up.
Yeah.
So I think as far as stiffness go, this is about as stiff as I want to go right now. And I doctor it up weight wise and see how
Nice.
that plays. And if I didn't like it as much, then I might try leather and some other things to get it even more. But
There's another question. They saw one of your rackets, Manish, strung with, is it Hyper G or is it Toro?
Actually,
Or
no,
is
it's
it
not
Lux
Hyper G.
Line?
It's so I think this is the one that's talking
Yeah.
Yeah.
about.
what is that?
This is Wasabi from Toro Line.
Okay,
Oh, really?
okay. Shout out.
Four-sided, soft but not too soft. I really like
Yeah.
Toro Line. If they're watching, shout out.
But it can be a little confusing because Toro Line does this color
Right.
in a few of their strings.
Yeah.
They do
Yeah.
Wasabi. I've just recently tried the Otoro
Otoro.
a little bit.
Yeah.
They do the Toro,
Which you really like.
maybe, or is
Yeah.
that the yellow one? But I think they do the colors in a few different things.
Yeah.
They have some really fun colors, that's for sure. But yeah, no, this is four-sided. Hyper G is
Also square.
Square.
Yeah, four-sided.
Okay. No, I only say this because there's
So it
a
was
lot
like a
of
bit of a
talk
blonde
on the
moment.
forum. I've been on the forum for too long now.
Get
And
off.
there's a lot of talk
About-
on the forum about it being 5-sided.
I don't know. As far as I know, the info that we got from Solinco is that
can't
the
tell.
shape is most of their strings, the main ones, Torbite, Confidential, or they say square, usually. But maybe something, I don't know.
I'll break up the argument with leaning into some of the strings that we did play test in these rackets through all of the silos. We can start with the RF01 Pro because we did test it with Hyper-G. We tested it with
That's what I
Lux ALU power, which is in this one. It needs to be restrung though. I tested a lot of strings in this racket trying to get dialed in, find the dream combo. I tested it at 56,
walk us
57. I tested it at 52, 51. I'm still trying to find the right setup. I was talking to Chris about this yesterday. I haven't
Which
found
strings
it.
did you try on those?
Hyper-G. I
Hyper-G?
tried it tight. I tried it or normal. I tried it literally like 57. I tried it at 52. I tried this one, the Lux LU.
You had the IR and a couple rackets.
We had the IR.
Yeah.
You do 4G at all?
Yeah,
actually,
once.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was stiff.
because Jade, I was complaining about some issues that I was having during the playtest, and Jada was like, "Let's just try 4G and take everything, all the power out of this racket and see what happens." That wasn't doing it either.
Yeah.
You're stringing
so-
that one pretty tight. I think it was.
It
like
was quite
56
tight.
Or
Yeah.
55.
Yeah.
Felt pretty
So
boardy.
My arm just hurts thinking about it.
I'm still in search of the right string combo. I've been hitting my RF and then this one actually with the ALU. For the most part, I'm testing some Toro line strings in my RF and then hitting this one with ALU. But what about you guys? In the 01 Pro, did you have a string that you loved, or like what was the best setup?
Well, we had so in the review. Remember, we had the black
we had
string
Savage
in
in
it.
it.
We had
also.
Savage in
Sorry.
Savage.
that. That
See,
was
a
quite
lot of
nice.
strings.
I really
Yeah.
like that one.
I like Savage.
Yeah. What I don't remember what tension you pulled it at.
I want to say it was like 54.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 And Savage holds its tension a little bit better than ALU, in my opinion.
Right.
So
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one we're getting the new colors of, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They're pretty.
yes,
And they
stay
play good.
tuned. They are cool.
I like.
If
the
we
white.
didn't know that,
I like
oh,
that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, there used to be a Lime Savage, like way back in the day.
wow.
Yeah, just saying for
Barcelona, man.
if you know, you know.
Bring it back.
What's this?
I hit this a few times already, but this is the 01, and it's the Hyper-G 17 at 50.
Okay.
I like mine a little looser.
Yeah, and you're liking that combo.
That feels pretty good.
And then what about the Future? Which
We had Element,
Yeah.
in it for the playtest, which I like personally. It's one of those strings that has a lot of, I think, visual appeal. I think it
Yeah.
looks really nice in a lot of frames, but I think it just feels good too. It's obviously not as soft as the soft IR version, but no issues. And then we had ALU power in the customized one.
Okay. No hybrids or any multis.
We had a hybrid briefly in the Future. It was NXT power, and I think ALU power, but I know
I think
NXT.
that's like very similar to the Wilson Duo Power Hybrid. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think is the NXT Power a new color? The orange.
Orange. Yes,
Yeah.
they have a new color of that coming out. I remember with a hybrid, we started to lose a little bit of control. Like nobody liked the hybrid during the playtest, so
Was
it might be a
Tiff
racket
on
that
that one?
benefits with like a full bed.
Well, that's worrying.
Was Tiff on that
well-
playtest?
Tiff was on that. Yeah.
I
She was
think,
like the most likely to like one, I think, a hybrid. But I think the rest of the team maybe not so much.
So
I'm a big advocate of hybrids. I think personally we're a little biased as a team because we always play with poly,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
just like
Facts.
poly. We're used to it, and none of us seem to have their arms falling off at the time. But
I lost
I
feeling
think
years
it
ago.
could work well with at least the 01 and the Pro that I played with. I think it potentially could be a good hybrid racket because of the feel and the stiffness. As far as spin goes, that would be something I'd have to test out on court, but Manish here is looking forward to trying Champions.
So
Choice,
yeah, I
you're
was
so
gonna bring into
fancy.
the hybrid thing. I'm excited for this, but now I'm kind of worried because nobody likes the hybrids in them.
No, I think
No,
Oh,
it was
come
just
on,
for
that
it
is
was just for the
different.
Future. It's a
Oh, okay.
different frame because I mean with this racket you're already
This-
getting such fast racket head speed,
That's
right?
true.
And so like anytime you add a softer string like a
And that's
multi-filament,
natural gut.
yeah,
Yeah, I got the Champions Choice 58 in the on the gut, 56 on the rough. So I'm kind of excited for this. I haven't even taken off the plastic yet. I just got this one this morning, so I'm kind of excited for the hybrid.
When's the
The
playtest?
Fed setup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have birthday dingles on the calendar?
Birth
Can we
tingles?
listen to play? Let's
Do
go
the
play after this.
opposite of this recording and go record then play.
Yeah. Let's just go play after this.
Right? Okay. Well, I kind of want to. Okay, you guys know I'm the bag lady in the office, and I kind of do want to talk a little bit about the bags. Manish, you're a proud carrier of the
I got the
backpack
bag as
at the
well.
moment.
Oh, I'm kitted up. I'm RF kitted up. You know.
Did you switch to the I forget the name of it, but the one
The
that looks
duffel,
like,
the
yeah.
practice duffel. I've switched as like
That
my
looks sick,
daily
by the way.
driver, but it is a big bag.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I can comfortably carry it because I was telling these guys yesterday, if it's big, I will fill it. And I'm carrying way too much right now. It's like,
Yeah.
also these bags are like really well made and they're heavy. They're heavier bags. So like it's a heavy bag. Like, but I'm trying to figure out my next like what's the best to work bag situation.
Did we get rid of the big 15 yet?
No, I got it. I got you.
Dude, that's you, man.
But I love the look of the bag.
Talk
It's
about the
stealth,
15 pack.
sharp.
Yeah.
It's black. It's got the shiny RF logo on it. It looks really cool.
Didn't you say in the review video that it is inspired not only by Fed but the Swiss Alps?
Yes. So there's that subtle, like, little, the subtle right above the RF is a little slope up. That's an
Really?
inspiration.
That's cool.
It's like a Swiss Alps.
Speaking of the Swiss Alps, Manish, do you want to check under the table or something attached to the table?
Oh my God. Wait.
Just reach your
What's
hand under.
happening?
Yeah, just reach under. You'll see it. It's taped on there, but it's in the middle of the table.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What is that?
Who could know what that is?
Yeah,
It definitely looks like a poster.
I mean,
No,
Manish said he is
Did you
kitted
know-
out. Oh my
Is it
gosh.
autographed?
Is that an autograph
No.
poster?
Don't do me like that. Oh no.
Are they signed?
No.
Those are cool though.
This is sick.
Happy birthday, Manish.
Oh my gosh, that was so sweet. That's awesome.
He's so good looking. Please cut that
That was just like social clip right there.
Please cut that one.
I knew what you meant. Graceful, right? Graceful.
Yeah, like it looks sick, man. This man. See this. See, okay. This was on the forum as well. This is on the forum as well, and I wanted to bring this up. The RF logo is to tennis what Michael Jordan's that hoop. What's the name of that? Is there a name?
Jumpman?
The jump
The
man.
Jumpman is to basketball. Iconic. This
Iconic.
logo on anything will just sell it.
It definitely is iconic. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're, I'm more of a fan of Roger than I am Michael Jordan. But I think maybe because it's been around for so long, but the Jumpman is like, it's like a sign that people know that don't even really know sports. You know?
Jumpman.
But I do love the RF logo. I love Roger. I get what you're saying, but I
Yeah.
think there's a little bit more history.
You know, Jordan has a higher.
You know,
Well,
it's
like
hard
we
to-
see like NBA players wearing like stuff with Jordans or the Jumpman on
Oh.
it. Do we
Even-
think
even Charlie
we'll see
Alcaraz.
pro
Well, look at
players?
Mookie. Mookie's got
Yeah,
his own
yeah.
cleats that are-
Alcaraz, Kyrgios.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but do
yeah.
we think any pros would use this racket?
Get
Oh.
Wade on the Dwayne Wade. He plays.
Well,
No, I'm saying like any like WTA or ATP pros. Like, can you see the 01 or the 01 Pro working for?
on Stripper.
Oh yeah, Jabot might be able
Yeah.
to pull it off. She hits
No.
big. She hits. You know.
I
Well,
definitely think it
here's
could
a follow up or continuation is if we have the future of tennis on this table, could we see a next gen athlete in the next 10 years be using, from what I don't know. Obviously, this is the first gen of the RF times the RF Wilson collection. So if this continues to get updated, maybe it's a future.
RF Pro Stock. No,
Just say, I mean,
right?
Well,
I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
like, are there any really
Yeah.
comparable examples like throughout history of like a signature racket line to this extent?
To this extent, no.
I don't think we've seen that. Really
We've seen like
before.
cosmetics,
Well-
like the one. You remember the Osaka
There's
one
like
we
the
had?
Michael
You know,
Chang,
stuff like
Well,
that.
Rod-
Prince
Roddick,
frames,
too.
like the Roddick Pure Drive.
Yeah.
But like never like a
But-
whole family.
No,
right?
no.
Oh
no.
yeah, that's true. But also something unique about Roger, he's literally not left the sport after retirement.
Mhm.
And like we've seen players leave the sport, like even Roddick, now he's super involved in tennis and it's been really fun to like watch him. And also he's now a Wilson Shift player, but he left for a minute, I think, right? And then, you know, now he's back. But like he kind of was like, bye. Roger like retired and then like the next day was still here.
Yeah, for sure. And he talked about that in the documentary.
Yeah.
He said he didn't want to do, and not to say anything's wrong with what Borg did, but Borg was like, you know, he retired young and he literally disappeared for like a decade. Or, you know, so he didn't want to.
And that makes sense too.
But he didn't want to do that to tennis. That's what Roger said.
To quote him, to tennis, I love you and I will never leave you. I will never leave you. Yeah, that got me, dude. We were watching the other day, Oak and I.
Were you crying? Like, you're like, you're not crying.
Yeah, we were not looking at each other. We were like, I'm not going to look at him.
And there's just like,
allergies.
There's just like different personalities, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying Rafa will leave, but I could see Rafa just getting on a yacht and being out with his family. Because he lives in a, you know, Mallorca and he likes his, you know, away time. I'm not saying that
he's very family oriented.
He's gonna leave, but I could see him be like, I'm just gonna go chill and fish all day and
golf.
He could be at his academy, you know, working with kids and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but maybe
Spain's good. You know, they've already got another superstar. Like,
Well, Roger
Spain's
still
chilling.
likes to get in the mix.
He
and
does.
Travel.
And I was gonna say that we've seen when we've met with the guys and ladies at On, he's very involved with, you know, he's involved in the shoes, he's involved with their ambassadors, and he's kind of helping. So he
like handpicks who they sign.
The players,
which is
if
sick.
anyone has ever like, if you want to go check out some cool up and comers, like the On website has some future athletes. I mean, not future; they're already doing amazing things.
Shout out to Joao Fonseca.
I was gonna say he's a big fan,
dude.
Tell us about him.
Oh, I mean, he's 17. He's from Brazil. I mean, he won his ATP Tour debut, I think, in Rio. Or that was his first win, was in Rio, and yeah, I mean, he just hits like some unconscious forehands. Like it's so fun and satisfying to watch.
Unconscious forehand.
I know.
I like it.
Do you like watching him more, or what's his name in Pechi Perikar or whatever his name is?
Oh, they're both really fun. I would say probably Fonseca. I mean, Perikar has just got like the power, right? You know, like
140 serve.
6'8", blasting, you know, bombs, hitting over 50
One-hander?
aces. Yeah, one-hander with a pure drive. Like you don't really see that on the tour these days.
This could be a racket if he was Wilson.
True though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if like Roger's helping On with like their athletes and like saying like, hey, I vouch for that guy. Like I'd be like, I'll use your racket. I mean, with Roger in your corner, like that's so cool.
But yeah, going back to like players on tour that could use. I think this could be a racket they use, whether they do or not, or whether however they try it out. I definitely think it could suit certain pro players for sure, whether they go for a certain weight or not. I think a player that maybe uses like a pure drive ultra type of racket and wants to dial in the control a little bit more, this could be the spec or the type of frame. Or the pro staff player like Ons, or someone that uses like a classic 6'1" 95 and wants a little more forgiveness and pop, this could be a great frame to try.
Dude, like the guy who you just mentioned, like dialing in a bit more control and all that. What if you got Holger Rune onto the RF?
I mean,
isn't he?
We'd have to steal
He's a Babolat guy.
You'd have to steal him from Babolat.
I don't know about that contract.
Or like already pro staff player.
Yeah, like a say like
Opelka.
Opelka.
Yeah. 6'1" 95
Dimitrov?
pro stock. Dimitrov.
Well, I know he's got his.
Dude, he
about
uses
every
pro
Roger
staff
racket, or tried Roger.
I'm like, is Baby Fed gonna?
I don't know. This is two fed, like RF there, RF here, RF here.
Yeah.
But I can see them using the mold and then getting a paint job on top of it.
It's just
real quick. So you talked about the bag and the Alps and the design inspirations. You're talking about the logos and stuff.
Yes.
I really love the cosmetic of the racket. I think that's one of the best features in my opinion. I love how it fades into the silver gray. It's got the RF butt cap. Inspiration on this frame, the lines have a meaning, right?
Yeah.
His two sets of twins, or what was it? They talked about that. How the two lines.
Let me go through some of my notes because I am that note taker.
The two lines on the frame here, the silver lines, didn't have something to do with his two sets of twins.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, just
nice little family touch.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm not. Maybe I'm not 100% on that, but I want to say that was part of the design inspiration. So there's some really cool touches to the bags and the racket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other like big like narrative angles they're taking is the next generation, right, of creative tennis players. And I would love to hear like each of you, you know, kind of like maybe just talk about like what creativity means to you on court. Because like you can be a creative player, of course, in terms of like the kind of shot you hit, but also your point construction, which I do think there's a difference there.
Yeah.
But. Or lack thereof.
Right.
Go for it. Who wants to answer that first?
Like what is it?
Well, like, I mean, what it means to you, but also like, you know, what that sort of means for Wilson sort of like encouraging creativity within players. Because we always talk about developing power and spin, but like creativity as something that's developed over time, maybe not as much.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I think just the way I play the game, slice, drop shots, angles, you know, I also consider myself kind of a shot maker. Like I want to basically hit, like if I see an angle or a crazy shot I could hit up the line, I'm probably going to go for it. But also I like to mix it up with, you know, paces. I don't always play power. My serves, you know, sometimes I'll go flat, sometimes I'll go kick, sometimes I'll slice. You know, it's like, I guess variety. I feel like I try to use a lot of variety, and I think that's a lot of things that Roger would do on court.
Yeah, no better man to do it.
Nowhere near the level of that, but in my own abilities.
Yeah.
You know, and you still see some pro players on tour, whether it's Grigor.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about Babolat, but Alcaraz, you know, he's so fun to watch because he can do it all.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
So creativity comes from a variety?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
variety. Just the way you look at the court, the angles.
Right.
The shots, you know.
I mean, there's nobody better to talk about creativity than this guy.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. I mean,
who else has a bigger claim? That makes sense.
But it's like it's opposite. Easy to see the opposite, right? Like Rublev, I wouldn't call him a creative player. It's just all in power all the time.
True. Yeah, of
Holger,
course.
sometimes you were talking about like just
somebody wants a bit more control. Yeah.
But
I lean into like personality though too on the court. So you know, like Roger. He can be so stoic, but he also, you know, like we see so many genuine moments with him where it's like,
goof.
Yeah. And like, especially I remember the last year of his career, it was like, if he was like growing out his facial hair, it was like, he had his own alter ego and like
style.
Style. I would say his authenticity is like creativity as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
Also, I had never heard Roger Federer cuss until I saw the documentary.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think he was a man who cussed. You know,
he's perfect.
I had heard some sound bits of him on the court, maybe at practice, or where he would be a little frustrated and let one rip. But I think he was very professional in the sense that he kept it away from the TV. He kept it. He wanted to be a role model for children. For the junior players, so I think there's a time and a place to a man's, the way he carries, the way he operates. You know,
there's this clip with him and Rafa talking in the locker room, and they're both cussing. I'm like, Rafa cussing?
Oh, Rafa for sure. I've seen clips of him and Uncle Tony and stuff like that. But
potty mouth over here.
But like I've spoken about this before, but it was like before. You probably were born, Manish, but like Roger,
24 years ago today.
There was shout out, happy birthday.
You're gonna talk about puka shell, Roger?
I'm gonna talk about angry long hair Roger. And like you
Frosty
can go
tips.
back. Yeah, he talks about how he, went through. He lost someone and it changed his life and his perspective. So like he used to have a different side, and I genuinely believe like if he didn't go through the stuff that he went through, he wouldn't be who he is today.
Was it his coach?
In more ways than one.
It's his coach, right?
I think so.
I think it was somebody he had worked with from a coaching perspective. But I always love like going back to his post first slam interview that he gave on court. And like you were saying earlier, he's such like a goofy guy and silly at times, and he owns that. And he's like, I didn't think it was going to happen because I was always just joking around. And then he's like crying like 20 seconds later. So you can see simultaneously how he's able to laugh about it and how much it means to him also. Yeah. And
I would say also real quick, the creative thing kind of goes into the way he just, like he's like a kid in a playground. Kind of like when he practices, like if you watch his practice videos at Indian Wells or whatever, and he's he's just like kind of getting in a groove. He'll throw in these shots where it's like he would never do that in a match, but he wants to play. Like he'll do those cut volleys that land 6 inches over the net and bounce back in, or he'll do the behind the back volley, or he'll do the two-handed backhand just because there's a really funny video I seen. He's done it with a couple different two-handed backhand players, but They were somewhere on a clay court practicing, and Nalbandian was watching him practice, and he's like talking to his buddy. He's like, "Hey, David Nalbandian," and he starts hitting like he's mimicking him, and he looks really like he does it really well. But I thought it was just funny. Like he has that child, like that kid in him.
Yeah.
And I think that adds to his creativeness, you know. He's like, Nalbandian, he's doing it. He's like, who am I, you know? And I mean, that's one of the best two-handed backhands that ever lived.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh, it was fun.
That's crazy. Do you think? Do you think like when they were at the Laver Cup the last time with the Rafa Joker, and they all like saw each other's rackets, and they just picked it up just to like see like what they were working with, and like somebody picks up like Roger's racket, and he goes, "Dude, this is heavy." Then goes on to Rafa's racket, and he's like, "Never mind."
That would be pretty funny. Or
like
like,
Rafa doesn't let people touch his racket.
Honestly, you might be right. I don't think he lets anyone touch it.
I would actually love to see these guys like hit different rackets and play test. And I mean, obviously we know, and like we get a chance to work with some of the players that get to play test, most specifically like Bethany's done some really cool videos. And Wilson was sharing with us that like Roger was in all the play tests, obviously very hands-on, very involved, but like how cool would that be to watch him swing that Rafa racket, because you know he can.
He definitely can.
Or like Murray, like switch all the guys, just like black out rackets and be like, you're using this for dingles.
Yeah.
Like, let's see what you got.
Yeah,
that'd be
crazy.
crazy.
Cool to see them use each other's rackets.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, we've been speaking a little bit because with the Roddick switch to the Shift Pro. Was it the Pro that he switched to? Or just the Shift?
Just a shift. He hasn't said Pro. He said he's shifting.
Okay. Like those guys could use a frying pan and they're going to be good.
And then there's so many, they're getting, you know, Wilson's taking the time to customize his frame.
Yeah.
He probably has a Pro, he probably has the Pro string job and the regular at the same weight, same balance. It's probably way different than the retail. So does it really matter which one he's using? Because he might like the open pattern a little more because he came from you know. Yeah.
Might be extended length.
Yeah, that video.
They're probably all 27 and a half because that's what he played with.
That video was crazy. He goes up to like, oh, okay, I'll try this. You know how he has that thing he does? All right, I'll try this. I'm a bit rusty. Tosses and like hits like a 140. I don't know, 140 is an exaggeration. But like hits that is like, oh yeah, I'm a bit rusty. I'm like, brother, please don't do that.
I would love to know how much he's playing right now. And he admits he's not playing that much, but I'd be curious to know.
But some of those players, I mean, like look at Tommy Haas. He still hits all the time.
Yeah.
He's so fit. He
it's
just
so
like
good.
he just like loving life.
Yeah.
Ferrer.
Like,
Was it Moya or one of them?
Yeah,
They showed the match.
All,
looks just amazing on court still. Yeah.
Berdych works with Lehechka.
Oh yeah.
He's been coaching him and like mentoring him. Yeah.
I remember walking by the practice courts at BMP this past year, and I'm like, that guy is the only guy using a head instinct. And I'm like, the only guy I know who would do that is Berdych, and I didn't even recognize him, but he was just hitting such a clean ball.
You noticed the paint, the racket, the design.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very far from an instinct, but like he still has that cosmetic. You're like, what?
Yeah.
It's either him or Maria.
Exactly. I was like, I know two pros that use this racket.
Tall blondes.
Tall blondes, yeah. Here's a good question to piggyback off what we were kind of just talking about. Someone asked, is the new RF, well, that's not an RF, I guess we're calling, sorry, I'm trying to get the words all correct. Is the new Wilson RF01 Pro a dumbing down of the Pro Staff RF and the Pro Staff rackets in general? And I mean, I don't think so. I think like we've kind of hit on this already. Like I think these are meant to live on their own, and the Pro Staff will still be around.
The word Wilson used was an evolution. So that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say what he means by dumbing down. It could be like many things he's going for in that phrase.
I don't think it's let's rephrase and say watering down. No,
Is it more accessible? Like, is the
I think they're different though. Yeah. They're different silos, right? I mean, right? Mm-hmm. The beams are different.
Oh
yeah.
So it's like not even. This is not a Pro Staff.
Yeah. No
and
way.
we said that throughout the play test.
Yeah. Now, if you're just talking about performance, we've already talked about some of those things. It's a more forgiving, a little bit easier power. compared to that. It's 20 grams lighter. So that was a big thing I talked about in the video. Is the swing weight's not crazy different from the RF97 Autograph, but it's 20 grams target lighter. That played a big difference. And what Roger, you talked about, I think, in the meeting we had, Roger needed he wanted his hand to be faster. It's like a boxer that gets towards the end of his career, and is not throwing the same punch anymore. At least that's how he feels about himself.
Well, the RF97 has such an extreme head-light balance, too. Like, hardly any other rackets are even in that range. And so it's much more, I think, middle of the road, and you're definitely going to get more plow-through and whip. Yeah. With a more head-heavy orientation.
Yeah. What did you think? I mean, did you think it was just more forgiving, more powerful, pretty much? Like, is that how you felt, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't, like I just said, I wouldn't put it in the same category as an RF97 because it is a different experience.
Yeah.
However, we hit on this in the video. The feel to me was very similar. So at least like that was nice and felt like home. But I'm still kind of struggling with my timing and the way I hit with this racket compared to the way I would hit with an RF97. That's been my biggest critique, and that's more of a personal issue. I don't think I think it's a great option though.
Yeah.
Like I would never say like, oh, yeah, no, I would never, this is a racket that I'm seriously like hitting with and looking at right now. As you know, since she's just switched. So you too.
Yeah. I thought the day that we did the video, I hit with your RF. I hadn't hit with it in a little bit. And I do like the feel of that more. It feels more precise, and I have a little more feel for the ball. So I guess that would be something that I do like more about the RF97.
I would agree. The
feel
more
and precision.
Precise, yes.
But
more connected to the ball,
this is a little more pop and a little more forgiving. I'd say in the like the way the sweet spot is and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, when comparing the two heavy models.
Yes. We got a lot of questions on comparisons. So
I think we just have a new video idea.
Yeah, right.
Right? Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Okay, well, we have Brian here saying we need a head-to-head video between the RF01 Pro, the RF97, and the ProStaff 97 V14.
And the RF01, yeah. Which is great because we're actually like kind of starting to do, it's in the works, some more comparison videos. Which, so that would be, we will stay tuned. We can do our best to talk through it. We kind of just did. And I think we did a fairly good job.
Do we even bring in the ProStaff 90 into that?
See, then I'm like, I'm out because like that's not my realm. Like I'm like the next gen of the ProStaff. Once the ProStaff went to 97, I'm in.
Yeah.
But before that,
did you even hit with much other than the test? Yeah.
I would never. It's like a Prestige from back in the day. I would never hit with a Prestige until now. So it's kind of funny. And like even on the vocal video we just did, the V10 Vostra, I was like, those guys like the old one, I like the new one. Go ahead.
Did you guys ever play the 90?
No.
Yeah.
I had the 95, the white and red one.
Yeah, that's a very lighter, watered down racket compared to the 90. But
yeah.
Me and Chris, like, we hit with the 90 quite a bit. We tested it back in the day at Granville.
Yeah.
And that racket had feel. Oh my God. the feel that, because it's so thin.
1618?
So boxy. I don't know the exact dimension on the beam. But
my laptop
so
died.
much feel.
Sorry.
Oh, I got you. Dude, did you ever try the Blade 93? Sorry, I called you dude. Did you ever try the Blade 93, the black one?
Yeah, I reviewed it.
That was, oh.
All
right, yeah. You've been here long. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
what did you think about that?
Come on, man. Go do your research.
I know. I can't believe you. Yeah. What it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yes, the Blade 93 was a
Did you like
very
the
nice
feel on
frame
that?
as well. That was a firmer blade, actually.
Yeah.
At one point, I think it was like mid to upper 60s on the flex, but really precise, 1820. 93.
We keep using the word feel, and I had a conversation yesterday with someone about that word and defining it and how hard it is to define with like even in this group, like yeah,
you know it when you feel it, like that's it.
And like how J-Dub sometimes is like really trying to like define feel. Yeah.
But then there's like crisp feel, and then there's plush feel.
Right.
But like for me, I know like me and Chris maybe
Muted feel.
like the dwell time feel, and that's something with like a ProStaff 90 where the ball just sat on there, and like you can feel you feel connect. To me, it's a connection thing. Like if I'm going for a volley or a drop shot or a slice, I can really just feel where the ball's coming in and out of the racket and like how direct that is to where I'm placing it, you know?
But is that connected to stiffness for you?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes when rackets just get too stiff, I don't have that feedback anymore.
Well, these are foam filled.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So that's definitely like contributing to some of the softness that you were talking about. And I love foam filled frames. Like Solinco, Technofiber, like more foam. Let's bring it back. I think they were like some old...
There was a bit of debate on one of the videos with some comments on the foam filled. But I think everyone here likes the foam feel.
Yeah.
Foam feel.
Was it like good way to get, more power without making it necessarily uncomfortable?
Yeah.
You can still get away with a high stiffness. Like, most Technofiber frames are upper 60s, low 70s. Like,
but it dampens. And
yeah.
Dunlop even has like the Sonic Core, which is like the
old aerogels
boost type of material inside there.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And that feels different.
Yeah.
That feels like maybe a little more.
But I know pros use it for sure. I still use the same. I've said it before on podcasts, but I remember, I already knew that some of them did, but like I was watching a match where Vasek Pospisil, he like was just frustrated and he just blasted his racket on the court, just smashed it. And the tennis TV zoomed in and you could see the racket crack up in the hoop and you could see the silicone. He had silicone. Or maybe it was like a white foam. Either way, it was injected into the hoop. Because you could see the cross section. That's how much he broke it.
That's crazy.
And that's how good the TV camera was.
Yeah. Shout out to that cameraman.
Yeah.
It's like the same crew. Like they go from tournament to tournament.
Dude, I'd love
the
to.
tennis TV guys? Or?
Yeah,
I'd
I think
love
so.
to
Because I remember we went to BMP and like I was looking at the camera crew guys. I was like, oh, cool. And then I was watching Miami. It's like, wait, it's the same dudes. Like we're on the court. Yeah.
Dude, that'd be sick just to work for them.
We used to work with Charlie Fox, and he's
got some of the production.
Tennis TV media. He's like does the interviews and makes those like cool interviews where they like ask him random things off the tour.
Yeah. I think he actually was or is a part of the production team that put together the podcast with Stevie and Jack Sock, and that's just kind of launched. So, yeah.
You know the name of that? It's so funny.
What's it called again?
No Major. Or Nothing Major.
And they qualify it though. They say
doubles
no doubles.
Doubles doesn't count.
And Jack's like, excuse me.
Yeah,
he
was it Andy who quoted Mike Bryan? He's saying for every 10 double slam you win, it's one single slam.
Facts.
And Jack's like, no.
How would that compare to winning a pickleball tournament?
Oh gosh, I think you need 100 of them. No, I'll go 1,000.
Yeah, you need to be Joko level.
ALW's got maybe close to if she needs 1,000. No, she's got quite a few.
Does it translate?
No.
I don't know. Can't believe someone said
we're the wrong audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong people.
Let's see. Did we miss any questions? There's some more comparison questions, and we'll do our best. Also, if you guys leave comments on our YouTube channel, it's mostly Troy and I answering those. So Manish will pop in from time to time.
We did get into the bags. There's the 15, the duffel, and the backpack.
Yes.
And then some accessories. There's an RF dampener.
Yes.
There's the RF grips,
the leather and the faux leather,
and they actually have the RF logo, kind of cool, in the grips on the leather and the synthetic. And this synthetic grip's very similar to the one they put on most of their rackets. I think what is it called? The something Pro
Performance.
Pro Performance. Yeah, it's very much like that, just with the RF on there and the kind of synthetic leather look to it. Was there any other accessories? The dampener, the grip. Couldn't remember. I think that was about it.
No. The dampener looks thick.
If you're interested in the bags, the backpack is like super cool to travel with too, because it has the ability to like slide it over your suitcase. So if you travel a lot, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a very nice like tech tennis bag.
It's very techy, yeah.
Yeah, because you got like a laptop sleeve and you have like other like smaller tech gear like pockets and all that, the zippers and all that. But then you still have your racket compartment. You still have a shoe compartment.
Yeah,
and
the
all
shoe
that.
compartment's nice.
It's really nice bag.
And the materials, you kind of already said it, but like once you actually have it in hand, you're like, dang, this is a nice bag.
Yeah.
Like I said, the duffel is huge, and then the 15 pack is like, it's just a nice different style because it like is more racket bag vibes, but it's still like a different silhouette than we've seen.
The 15. Mm-hmm. And it's got a lot of volume too, right?
A lot of volume.
You gonna get that?
You can carry a lot. There's also a racket
you
cover.
You gonna get that?
Yeah, I'll probably carry that around. I mean, I carry a big old bag anyways.
If you carry that, I'll keep with the duffel. Although I might take a few people out when I'm going in and out of this building. Like,
I can picture you taking it to like your high school tennis match.
I tried it yesterday. It was a good fit. I just need to learn how to like not fill it so full.
Just none of the kids know what she has on her, but it's all the parents are like, why? How does she have this? Already just came out.
Well, my favorite is like the people that don't think I like, you know, like there's some kids on the team that like don't even realize I play tennis or like what I do. And then like we have a new girl, that we have a bunch of new freshmen. And like the other day she was like, oh, I love your shoes. They're so colorful. And then like the next day she was like, oh, I love your shoes. And I was like, yeah, I wear a lot of tennis shoes.
Well, I was thinking about that the other day too, about like your players or any of the players you play against not knowing like, you know, that you play. And when we were playing we did that review, we played doubles points.
Yeah, that was
we had some
fun.
really good doubles points. And I was like, dude, if half her players could watch this video or watch her, they'd be like, holy smokes, the returns you were hitting that day, you know? This is not a Roger topic, but maybe it is. The past like 2 weeks, I have been so excited to coach and teach doubles strategy. If you want to hang out, yeah, Manish, go to her practice.
There's a player that I work with that actually is not on my team, and she is trying out for a different high school team, and she's never really played doubles. And I spent an hour just like geeking out on the movement and like to like start like seeing how if you do this and this is gonna come back, and like even staying forward and like keeping your eyes forward, not turning around. And like it was like her mind was blown, and she was playing a new sport because she was like, wait, how am I this good already? But like I don't know any of this.
Yeah.
And I often lately have been thinking, like, I cannot remember not knowing anything about tennis. Like, I can't remember learning how to hit a forehand. I can't, like...
Well, you were, like, so young.
I like, want to, like, I don't know. This
like
is
you can't remove your own subjective lens from like.
Yeah, because I'm always like, what did my coaches do with me? I remember.
What did Robert Lansdorf? Yeah.
He would just go girl, go girl. My backhand volley, a lot of coaches hated, but I remember I had one coach that was like, you want to hit it open stance, hit it open stance. You want to hit it two hands, hit it two hands. And that's probably why I do a lot of different things. Anyways, trying not to talk so much about myself, but I'm trying to get in that mindset like of how was I as a kid learning and like what does that look like so I can be a better coach but anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
Doubles is exciting me right now, and I'm like so excited to work on it. Yeah.
Doubles is fun.
Yeah.
We got it on recording, guys.
I
don't think you guys realize that.
For the viewers, by the way, I've been a doubles hater for a good amount of time, but I've recently started enjoying it. I've started playing it a lot more because you can't be hating something and then not be good at it as well. If you can only have
in the arena.
You can only have a say in the topic if you're
in the arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like people who sit at home and criticize the Olympians.
Just saying. YouTube.
Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, no, I've been really enjoying doubles. So.
Nice. You guys can all go hang out in Manish at a tournament coming soon in
Texas.
Okay,
yeah.
in Texas.
Texas is so big. Where will they find me?
I don't know. They'll find you.
Right when you get back from there's Santa Maria Open. So that'll be fun. Good players come. Marcos, Carew
won.
Kayla Day.
Did Carew win it?
What's the name? Stacey Austin's son or Tracy Austin? Tracy Austin. Sorry.
Brandon Holt.
Brandon Holtz won it. There's some really good players. Yeah.
Some of the USC girls.
I know Marcos once he won it.
Yeah.
Did Carew ever?
I think Marcos beat him that year.
Oh.
But he hasn't played. I don't think he played it that many times. But
okay.
Some really good players back in the day.
I got a back question for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Will there be a 6 or 9 pack?
So right now, there's only those 4 bags in the collection. Backpack, the duffel is actually considered a 6-pack. That's what they're going for. It can definitely hold 6 rackets and then some. Mm-hmm. And then the 15-pack, which if you're okay with a big bag and you want to carry 9 rackets, I think the 15-pack's a good option. And then there's a racket cover, which is cool. And as I mentioned earlier,
I saw that because I don't think we carry it.
It's not up yet.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We're waiting for images, I think.
Okay.
But I could imagine more bags to come as the line evolves and gets updated in a few years. Not that we're talking about updates already, but we know how they work, and it's like they release something and they're already working on that next gen.
I mean, 01, pretty easy to do 02.
Yeah.
Have you seen the cover itself?
Not in person.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was like your typical just zip cover or what it looked like.
It's pretty nice for
That's what I
a
thought.
singular racket cover. Like, it's got a lot of
it's got a pretty
detailing.
price tag too, right?
Yeah, it's like $50. But it's got like a pocket that you like pull open and a zipper. So it's got some layers to it. The RF logo, of course.
And I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, I was getting caught up in this. Wilson's been doing those racket covers a bunch, and they just did it for the U.S. Open series, and they have some of the more fashiony ones. So
Nice.
yeah,
because it's kind of like a style thing too, especially with like the players that we're always talking about nowadays, like the casual players that are into it for like the fashion and the vibe kind of player.
Yeah.
They're not like going to carry a Series 15, They just want the cover. They just want the look.
yeah,
The tote bag is pretty in,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Handle sticking out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah. What else? I feel like we've hit it all, literally.
Not Wilson related, but are we ever going to get more RF hats? Is the world?
I don't know.
No.
I think that's a
Uniqlo,
Uniqlo
please.
question.
Yeah.
Right.
This logo sells.
We do love
sells.
Maybe they're working on something. I don't know.
it.
But
Yeah.
Hope to God.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
That would be
buy three.
amazing. Yeah. Manish is in. If it has an RF logo, Manish will buy it.
Yes. Yes.
I was joking when we were going to film, or when we started planning this podcast, I was joking that we should all bring every RF hat that we have.
I still got a lot of Nike ones and stuff.
A lot of, like, this one's my favorite one. This is the foundation one, though.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's pretty dirty and needs a wash, but Nike went through that phase where they like kept changing the style and the design. We've talked about that because like one became like that. I kept calling it a grandpa hat because it kind of had the
Yeah, it was very boxy.
yeah, it like didn't fit to your head.
So those were the like original kind of low profile cap.
Yeah, and then there was a hat that had corduroy, a Nike corduroy. Like I have a purple one that's like a corduroy. And then they played with different applications. I think I have at least 6 or 7 RF hats, and only one of them is Uniqlo. So,
One for each day of the week.
yeah.
I had at one point probably had like 10 or more, but
Yeah. So.
I only have 2.
it shows what
Rookie
kind of fan
numbers,
you
man.
are.
Yeah, and he claims to be a fan.
Yeah.
What else? That's it. I think that's it. Do you guys have any more questions for us? We had a good turnout for this one. Obviously, this is a fun topic, and we're excited that we finally get to talk about it. Sometimes we have to keep our mouths very tight and aren't able to say a lot about what we're testing, and that can be tough, but we're here now to talk all things.
Yeah, so some of my mates from Fiji were like texting me saying, because when they posted like the teaser, like something about that, and they were like, "Do you know?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry.
Just put the zipper emoji.
I don't know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just saw the post. I've been playing with RF like for the last 2 months, and I'm like, I also just saw the post. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're like, what do you mean? Yeah. I even had someone in the industry ask me like, oh, what are you play testing? And I said, oh, something I can't talk about. And they had no clue. And they were like, I was like, I can't tell you. I can't be the one to leak this. So.
But the secret always gets out. There's some dude somewhere, and he finds out something from some pro shop.
Shout out to Mazursky.
Yeah.
There's
Shout
some
out.
pro shops that, they have different rules, pro shops than online retailers. So.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, the pro shops, the brick and mortars tend to be,
They get,
it's just
because they get their
different,
demos and their samples. And
people walk in.
Yeah.
I had too much coffee this morning. Something came out, It's like,
Oh, so you know how we were talking about the cosmetic and like this, like the line like represents like the twins, the kids, and everything and all that. There was this guy on the forum who was talking about it, and they said, "Do you think the black to gray is his signifying his aging?"
Oh, I was.
He's getting old.
That's mean. That's just me.
Dude, don't say stuff like that.
I was trying to pull up my
I
notes.
deleted that so quickly.
But do you remember they talked about like the streak and how like that he likes the way it looks through the air?
Yes.
Or are you just like saying that because
I just like black rackets.
No, there was
But
a
like how
whole
it,
story. Let me pull it up.
Is it?
Yes.
See, so Roger actually likes the lighter color up top, you know, so if it was white, you know, something like that, me and guys like Roger, we don't mind it. Oak, you know, the white racket, you know, the lighter colors, they tend to bother you. They catch your eye.
Yes.
Roger likes the lighter.
So
that's why they lightened it
He
up.
doesn't.
Yes.
Because we had the tuxedo one, and
That was
threw
down
that
Okay.
away.
That was down here.
I can confirm, Troy, RF logo with pinstripes. Twin stripes is a nod to his twins. RF01 Pro, sophisticated fade from black to onyx, anthracite, leather grip, RF logo, balanced with the RF logo embossed, balanced with the RF Wilson logo. He wanted script, the RF butt cap, and then I also have here. Let's talk through. We're just going to talk through my notes. The saber frame design, we didn't even mention that. That was cool that Wilson collaborated with him on that technology name. Aerodynamic, accelerated head speed to penetrate groundies with a variety of spin. It's forgiving, stable, more stability. There's a large shoulder blend, and shaft.
Yeah.
They have the new grommet systems that Wilson came out with the blade. So integrated smooth bumper and the braided 45 tech. Carbon braid has always been used by Roger. And then, yes, the foam filled PU. There's like fine point paintbrush RF as the artist, which Oak was hitting on to create art on the court. And what else? Where's my speckle thing?
I mean, you were praising the grommets earlier today.
Yeah,
like saying
I
that they're
took
easy to
off the
work
grommets
with.
and I put it back in the span of like 5
Your stringer will
minutes.
thank you so much if you have easily replaceable grommets.
Oh, yeah.
Like the new blades, right?
Yeah.
New blades is so good.
Yeah.
Grommet
So
changing.
And just to kind of what we were talking to Jonathan Wolf about
Mm-hmm.
is the saber is kind of like an encompassing, kind of like a concept, right? It's like a collection of the technologies. It's not like a specific
right.
material or anything
Right.
they renamed. It's like the different materials inside, the whole like collection of technologies.
Right.
Sneak attack by a Raja.
I know. I love that. Of course it's saber. I mean, what else would it be? Tool,
okay.
not a toy. I like that. It's a tool, not a toy.
Okay, so you know how I mentioned that Fed did not like the tuxedo frame with the white on the side? So Peter just pointed out that he didn't like it was too jarring.
Oh, here it is. Yes.
Yeah.
The streak through the air. So it's speckle at the tip, the lighter color at the tip. He enjoys that. He likes that.
me
Peter
too.
Fig knows a thing or two about pro staff RF designs.
Yeah, and also the white part on the sides, I don't think was necessarily bothering him because if you go back to like for years he played Encode and it was red with white on the
Right.
sides, so he just doesn't have that thing like you do about like, oh, it bothers me when I look at it. You know?
I mean, I guess I'm a little bit more Joko than I would like to say.
Yeah, you know, blacked out Joko.
Joko.
Shout out to Jelko.
Conscious breathing.
Well, I think that wraps it up. I don't know if we have anything more to speak about, but that I think we did it.
Demo. Try one out. Like,
Try it out.
They're fun. They're just good
try it
rackets.
out.
Like,
Definitely worth trying it
Try
out.
it out. Get a demo. Get one of each. Try
Yeah,
all the
our
demos.
demo should be becoming available pretty soon.
Yes,
So a lot of people
Like
should be able to
today.
get it, yeah.
hopefully, right?
I don't know.
it should be.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. This is exciting. It's really fun for us to talk about like something that's so different, and this is like one of the biggest launches of the year in my eyes. So it's always fun to geek out. And thanks for everyone joining us on the live. That was really fun.
That
Good
was
questions, good engagement.
Yeah, no, this is one of the most popular lives we've ever had.
I guess. I mean,
Must
we're talking
be
about
your
Roger.
birthday or
It's
something.
Roger's birthday. We got to celebrate.
Yep.
And it's Manisha's birthday, so we're gonna go celebrate with Manish.
Yes.
Thanks, you guys,
Birthday
for
dingles.
joining. Birthday dingles.
Dude, I'm down. Let's go now.
Yeah, let's go.
right.
And happy hitting.
Go play some tennis.
Bye.